Hi, it's Suzy at Bonsai Druid. I'm here to work on some ficus. I brought in all my ficus ones and we're just going to give them a quick trim. Most of them don't need very much, but I always say that, and then it turns out they need a lot more than I thought they did. So I'm going to turn it over to the table where I have them all set up. So the first two that I'm going to do are South African fig. This is my original South African fig. And this one was a baby that was cut from the first one. It was actually, this whole bit here was an aerial root that I cut away from the parent tree, and it just stood there for a long time, and then eventually it just started sprouting leaves. So I said, all right, it looks like it's going to be its own tree. And then when it was ready and I repotted this one, I separated the little root system of this one from the parent one, and it's been going good ever since. Okay, so this branch over here was originally going to be some kind of a sacrifice branch. You can see there's an aerial root starting. Let me get my piece of paper. I have an aerial root starting right here. It's just a tiny little thing. But the rest of this, I probably don't need it that big. I don't even know if I'm going to keep this branch. It's not really in the best place. And I almost feel like I could cut this tree here, or even lower down here, and make this a whole separate tree and start a fresh trunk from this one. So I'm going to go ahead and start pruning. Let's see. There's a long one right here. Too long. I'm going to take it back. Take it back to there. I also need to remove all the figs from this tree. Since I'm trying to develop branches, apparently I shouldn't be having a bunch of figs forming on it, so I'm going to make sure to go through and check if there are any hanging about. I don't really need this leaf here. Or that leaf there. Now, this one kind of comes off the end. I've got a couple that are sticking straight up. Don't need those. So we're going to get this off of here. Clean out this little crotch here. This one up here is also growing upwards. I don't think I really want that right now. I've got this one leading off, and I really don't need this new shoot on this side. I'm going to cut this back. This one's still small. This one's growing underneath, but it's growing back. It's a bad angle. And this one has just... a little long. I'm going to trim it to this downward facing leaf. And take this upward facing leaf off also. This little branch doesn't have a whole lot going on. We're not going to take anything off that because I would actually like that to grow. In fact, I almost feel like I could cut this whole one back to there. But we'll wait. So then I have this branch here. Again, there's a few of these bigger leaves. They're growing back the wrong way. I'm going to take those and probably take this one on the top side off. Not sure how well this is showing up. My soil is kind of dark on this particular tree. So, got another branch growing up, and 1, 2, 4. I am going to cut it back just to this downward facing leaf. Then we're off to this one up here. This leaf does not look good, and it just fell right off, so we're done with that one. This has a couple of leaves growing a little too close. Leaves growing up top. This one here. I'm going to take it to this downward facing branch. Then we got a big gap till we get to the top up here, which is, this small stuff is better, but this branch, there's one of them going up and there's one of them going out. Let's see if I can take a closer look at it. These are both forking. Oops. There we are. It helps if we can see the top of the tree. So this one up here, it has 2 forks. I'm going to take the lower one and take this upper one off. And then take off this leaf facing up so I can see what's going on here. Just stay with that length right there. This with a branch here and a branch here could end up being the back of this tree. This is probably going to end up being the front. So this is probably the front. And this is probably the back, just because, if I show you from the side, I have at least 2 branches to the back. If I have to take both those off the front, just removing, I'm in need of trying to create branches, not remove them. So I'm going to go ahead and assume this may end up being the back of the tree. Apparently I'm easier at finding the backs of trees than I am finding the fronts of trees. This one has a small bit there. I'm just going to pick off this little withered branch at the end of this one. And a withered branch here. And maybe this knob. That's all withered away. That had a little bit of green in it. I'm going to take the side off of this one. And I will leave that branch alone. So this one I need to just kind of straighten it out. Maybe if it goes in the direction like that. And I've got a back branch here. I've got another one here and here. Neither of these are in good locations. I'll probably take this off altogether. And this one. This one's technically higher, but it's got a weird bend to it. I'm going to cut it back and see if I can... I'd like it to back bud, so... Let's see what we have here. I think I'm just going to take it to here. And hope that something else forms further back. Now, if I were not to decide to cut this tree in half or air layer this upper half, just taking this as the tree itself, this top part, it kind of needs a new leader, but I don't think I want it to be this over here. I want it to be something. Let's see what we have here. I gotta remove this leaf so we can take a better look. So this tree comes up, bends to the right, bends back to the left, and then I kind of have a fork or a set of antlers up here. One or the other could be the leader. If this were to be the front of my tree, then this up here leaning toward me should probably be the leader. And this one that's thicker should maybe be taken off altogether and start a nicer upper section up here. Because it is a little thick because of the branch that was here. But this could maybe hide some of that and still allow this one to become the leader. So, since this is my front, I'm taking this off. Taking this upward growing leaf off. Taking this other tinier upper growing leaf off. Taking this upper leaf off for right now. I'm leaving it there. I think that one's just trimmed as much as it needs to be right now. Like I said, it's just a waiting game of getting the right things to develop. And the last thing I need to do is brush some of this algae that's growing on the base of my tree. Not algae, I'm sorry, moss. Sphagnum moss. I don't need it that high up the trunk. Kind of leave it close to the base, but just not up the trunk, because there's some areas there that I am trying to encourage maybe a better lateral root to come off in a couple spots where there's little hollow pockets where I would like roots to be. So I'm trying to just keep it brushed off the actual trunk so that doesn't get soft, but low enough to allow there to be root growth there if needed. And that's that one done. Now its little friend here, it's very small. Try this guy. The toothpicks are just showing me so I remember where I put fertilizer, because I'm using BioGold original fertilizer pellets. This one, not much to do. It's small and young. The leaves are growing all cattywampus, but that's okay. I can leave these, this. This one's a bit too long over here, so I'm going to cut that one way back because there's already a little bit of a knot shape there. I can see where it's at. You can see a downward facing leaf like right there. Actually, two downward facing leaves. What's this? This is an upward facing leaf. We don't want that. At least not there. Let's see. This one's just a stalk. Look at this from the back side so the leaves aren't in the way. This branch here is a bit much. I'm going to take it back. It's got a big leaf there. Go ahead and take it back. This one has a large leaf right at the top. I think I'm going to take the large leaf off. And there's a leaf kind of curling. It's gone all sideways up in here. And I think I'll cut this just to be more proportional with the rest of it. So I'm going to leave it right there. Since it's just a baby and it's in development, the leaves are really dark on this one. That one's done. The next couple are ones that, one here, there's a few in here, there's a few in here. These were all cuttings from this bigger one. So I'm going to do the bigger one first because I'm trying to develop finer branching on this one. So it really got quite a lot of leaves in a short amount of time. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove some of these longer shoots they probably don't need. Upward facing leaves. And leaves that are at a crotch or at the base of a new set. This one is making a bar. This in here. So I've done this side. I'll pick this out. See, like this one here is kind of growing near a bend, but it's not at a bend. This one back here, though, is growing near a big area that's already been very knotty in the past. Now I can either attempt to cut this thing way back and use that, but it still grows to the inside, so I'm still taking it off. And this one here, it's kind of coming out from underneath. And there's a bud on this other side. Oh, got a bit of a withered old branch here. Can come off. This looks like it's going to need some carving back. That side, that side. Here's one that's growing right on the, look at that, right at the base of that thick trunk, huh? So if we come up this side, we got a lot of things growing up from underneath. It somehow managed to look like they were growing up top. So this one, first off, I've got this that died back. Kind of like it to come back even further, to be honest with you. I'm just going to do it. This branch comes from underneath. It's already thick there, so I'm going to take that off. This one has a lower leaf that I'm cutting off to this lower leaf. Like maybe I can readjust the direction of this branch. It's got lower ones down here, here. It's kind of tricky. You can kind of see that's as high as it goes. This branch has a lot going on. There's a branch in here growing to the inside of this, so I'm going to take it out so we can see better. These things are getting sharpening. There we go. I feel like I could cut this branch off here. I think I can cut this branch back. At least to here. Take these two off. Let's see. I have a branch on this side. It's got this big, heavy shoot coming off of it. And a small little bit over there. So what I think I'm going to do is trim this one back to something that faces downward, like this. Probably cut that a little closer than I should have. And this one, I'm going to take this big leaf off. And on this other side, there's one in a crotch where a smaller branchlet might form. Then we're going to move up to this branch here. There's a branch leaf in here. It's in the way. Let's see what's under here. Okay, we have from this big knobby trunk right here, I've got a branch going sideways and a branch there. Another new, these two are very recently formed young branches. This other one is older, probably is going to blend a little more with this big knot. So at least this middle one I'm going to have to take out. And these are just too close to each other to be useful. So I'm going to have to take this one off. I can leave that. Take this top off. This one is at the base of a branch. This one's growing downward. This one's long. I could trim this one back to the first leaf. See if it's worth keeping. This one, no. I think. There we go. That's that. And I'm getting some new growth here off the trunk, which is nice to see. There's a bit here and a bit here. Notice none of it is anywhere that helps me at all. They're never on the outer end of a bend like they should be. They're always just kind of like, ugh. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to leave that one there or not. Let's see what's over here. See, that's a thick branch for the top of a tree. And I have a new shoot here, kind of going up. This could be an outer bend, and this could be something new, even though it's really small. Decisions. Did I trim this one? Let's get complicated. I did this one. I did this one. This one would technically be kind of on a curve. Sort of. You take this little branch out of here. I mean, little leaf. Pinch this tip out. And take maybe this inner leaf off. This one's growing totally on the inside of a branch, so I don't need that. This was also growing in there. I don't need that. This here, there's a nice little branch right there, even though it is on the top. But this whole branch over here is kind of long. could maybe... take it back to there. I think I may have to lower this. Okay, so this is where we're at. Oh, still can't see it. This is where we're at right now. There's so much new growth on here. It's really hard to... I'm knocking leaves off. Really hard to see what to keep. Okay, I'm going to have to assume that this is going to be the front of this tree. Because this whole thing is crazy. Okay, I'm going to set this one aside because I have to have a think about this one for a little while. So we'll take a look at this little guy. He's deep down in this pot. Whoops. Hold on a minute there, camera. This trunk is a little damp from being watered, but it goes down to here. So it comes up, forks over here. I got the side branch over here. It's got a nice little shape already. I'll just see if there's anything that I can clean up about it. There's the lower branch here. This top comes up to here. This side branch over here is already getting a little bit heavy, so I would almost, since this tree is young, take that off there and let a new shoot grow from there to be an outer branch on that side. So that's what I'm going to do. Because a lot of the mistakes I make are me hemming and hawing and leaving things go, and then they just go way out of control altogether. So I'm just going to take it there. Hopefully I'll get a new little bud there, and that'll be a nice little branch to that direction. This top could be wired to come up if necessary. This branch down here has an upper branch growing, so I'll take that off. And take this top leader off, and that leaf that was where it grew from. This side here, I can take this leaf, this inner growing leaf. And I think I would take that bigger leaf off. This has a shoot. This little underleaf. And get up to the top of this tree up here. And I actually could cut it off right about there. Then this would be a back branch, and this would be my new little leader. I'm going to do that. This tree might be the smallest, second smallest I've ever made. If I can make this work. So, we're going to leave that like that. I've never really had this many cuttings to play around with, so the ficuses have been really generous about that, and so have my elm trees. This little one here, it's just doing its thing. It's got a thick little trunk. It's just got one kind of stem going up. I'm okay with it the way it is for now. These are little babies of, there's one here and one here. I don't know how to pronounce their name. Hold on. I got a little plant this past earlier in the summer from Ted's Nursery in Tinley. And so these little babies fell off from this little succulent, or I think it's a succulent, that I got at Ted's. It looked pretty interesting when I seen bigger versions of this. This is just a tiny one. Not sure if you can see its leaves. It's kind of funny how it looks like the South African fig a little bit, but this trunk is completely different. And it is called Dorstenia hildebrantii carnulosa. Leafy, thick, bushy stems to 8 inches. Sun to part sun, water when dry, keep dry through winter. But apparently it makes lots of babies from its flowers, which are kind of strange looking. And these are the babies that came in there. That already has a thick little base to it. Oh my god, I don't know if you can see that. Look at that. Look at that little bulb. Hold on, let me get it up here. Oh, my phone's in the way. Can you see that little bulb? It looks like a pea. And it's going to grow up from there, I guess. So I'm going to leave it and see how it grows for the moment. This little guy won't mind. He's willing to share. So this one has a few in it. I don't know if I really need to do much. I'm like kind of, let's see. This one has a trunk that's kind of laying down in the pot, so it's really low. It does raise up a little bit. It's hard to see anything that's going on in here. It's got a branch that's growing back, so I might as well take that off because we never want that. This is a second one growing here, so I'm leaving it. You can ignore that. This one has a branch growing down here on the bottom, so we'll leave that for now. And this just kind of comes up. A couple of larger leaves I could probably remove to give some of the smaller leaves more light. Like that little guy. And this inward growing leaf here doesn't do anybody any good. This shoot is not needed because there's a leader right there. Then you can see this trunk comes up. It snakes around over to this side. There's just this little plant growing in the crotch right there. I don't know if I should remove that. Probably, because there's a big distance between that and that, so we'll probably be leaving it. Let me come over to this side. It's still a thick trunk, and then it starts getting lost in all of these undergrowths. So this one's kind of growing up and on the wrong side of a bend. Might as well get it out now. There's two down here that are also growing on the inside of a bend, even though you're not going to be able to see them on the camera. So I took those out down here. In fact, there's a... There we go. Yeah, that's better. And then on this backside here, you can see there's still another branch growing out the underside, and this one. I don't really think I want any of those growing under there. Even if I were to plant this straighter up, those aren't going to help anything. Just their positioning on the branch is bad. As vigorous as these have grown, there's no reason why they couldn't make a better spot for a shoot. So it's just this side. Let's see if I can show you. So this one's got one growing there. This is growing to the back side. I would say maybe keep the one growing to the back side. It's this one. Oh, I just knocked it off, so now it's not there at all. I have to grow a new one of those. There's another one growing lower down on the back side down here. Let's see. There's a ladder right above it. I'm going to take that one off. Oh, they're all coming off. What's the deal? I'm hitting too hard. Trying to go too fast. And here, I think this one growing upper. I feel like I should cut this off right here at this moment. And take this one off this back side. So I don't get these big swellings. That's apparently what happens when you wait around too long to make your decisions. You end up with big swellings of things that you didn't want. So I'm going to leave this one like that for the moment. At least they're all kind of starting to attain a shape, except some of these ones that were just planted straight in. They'll get a little bigger, and then I'll be able to do something with them. I think this is the last pot of the smaller ones. These ones seem to be a little bit bigger. So there's this one at the back. There's actually one right here and a forked one right here, and I'm going to cut this end leaf. Take this one out of here. Due to the length between here and here, I almost want to take everything off right to that one and start at a better spot. Or I could leave these on so they thicken. Let this one thicken that lower part. Well, I think it'll just get knobby anyway. They always just get knobby, so I'm going to take that off. Take that off. I'm going to take it all off. to that one. I'm not going to do anything to this because it's stick straight at the moment. Let's see. And there's, I think, 2 on this side. This one's trunk comes up. It's got a branch here with a big leaf on it. This is an outward facing, front facing, inward facing, gotta go. Over to this little branch over here. Inward facing, gotta go. I think I can leave the rest of that one for now. It can help strengthen. This one here. Yeah, I'm going to leave that one too. Let that one just grow. And this one over here. It's got a really little branch here. I'll leave it for the moment. This here, I don't think that's a good place for that. I've either got to leave this, and take the rest off. Or take this. That one, and that one. Nope, that's a tough one. I'm going to leave it. It's got time to grow. I'll take this heavy branch off, or this big leaf off. Ugh, better scissors. That side and this side. I think I can leave the rest. So that's done. Okay, well, I had a bit of a think, and I ended up taking this tree way back. Mainly because it already has so many issues with its thick trunk that, I mean, these, not just the trunk, I mean, these things, it is thick. Thick, thick, thick. And the only way to get things back into proportion was to just give it up and try to hack it back. So that's where I'm going to let it grow again. And then I may have to reshape leaves, and there are knobs that need fixing, but there's still, I'm not even sure how much of this I want to keep, this whole branch here, just because of the thickness of it and the proportion. I mean, I've had this tree a long time. It's had lots of different iterations, but the trunk, it's pretty thick. For me, for a tree of mine. But it's just not, this down here, I have no problem. It's once we get into how massive this trunk is here. And just thick and straight. So I almost could cut it off like that. Which might be the next situation. Cut it back from here. I don't even know, I might be able to air layer this. It's thick enough and long enough. I take that off. But there's just no grace to it. It's just big and chunky and thick. I'd have to let this whole thing become huge for that to be in any kind of a scale. So, I'm just going to experiment on it. Otherwise it'll just become a mother tree that just gives birth to all these little awesome baby branches that I end up with. So that's my ficus. Thanks for sticking with me. This is all I had of debris. Not too much. Most of it came off that tree right there. But it is what it is. And I'm not sure what I'm moving on to next time. I'll have to see what's ready. But the ficuses are done. I'll probably do another update on them if I have a really strong growth in the next few months. And all I've got left to do is a little bit of, just a little bit of sphagnum moss starting back up on this tree. But not too bad. It's got such a nice trunk, and it does have nice flare down here. It just got to fix the branches that I let go crazy. But I'll see you next time here at Bonsai Druid.